You're watching ABC 7 News at 4, starting with First Alert Weather.
Good afternoon, I'm meteorologist Steve Newman in for Bob Harrigan, and we're turning into a more typical weather pattern across Florida today as winds are slowly shifting. You can see we don't have those storms in the interior that we had yesterday blossoming up. In fact, not nearly as much cloud cover today as at this time yesterday. Looking at radar, the Panhandle is still getting hammered with wave after wave of rain moving there, but it's also keeping them cooler than we are. You can see a line of showers and thunderstorms stacking up from Tampa Bay northward, and a few try to bubble up here and there. And off the coast of Sarasota County and Manatee County, you can see some lightning out there well out to sea. Now, the computer model that creates this futurecast is indicating we could get some showers. This is 6, 7, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10, 11, midnight. Bubbling up from the south, kind of what we had yesterday. We'll see if that happened, but this model just nailed the forecast yesterday. It was really surprising how accurate it was. Your evening planner, a chance of showers, with temperatures cooling off slowly through the 80s into the upper 70s by the early morning hours. We'll talk more about that shift in our weather pattern, but first, here's Jacqueline with traffic.
All right, Steve, thank you. In First Alert traffic, a major accident in Sarasota at this hour. 3 vehicles involved in the crash at the intersection of Fruitvale Road and Beneva Road around 3:15 this afternoon. At least 2 people were seriously hurt. Now, both of those roads are back open, but you may want to be extra careful as you drive through that area this evening.
Right now, Sarasota County crews are cleaning up dead fish from area beaches. One of the hardest hit areas is Siesta Beach, where within the last half hour, we have learned that 16 tons of fish were removed from that beach just today.
That's where we find ABC 7's Rick Adams live on Siesta Beach with more on the cleanup and where all those fish will end up. Rick?
Yeah, guys, good afternoon. Crews have been working hard all day long here, and things are definitely looking much better out here. And as you were saying, they have picked up about 16 tons of dead fish, if you can imagine that. And that's here on Siesta Beach, and there's much more to come, they're saying. A machine with a sand rake is doing a lot of the work. The dead fish are then placed in a dump truck, which is then taken to the landfill in Nokomis. This work will be going on at area beaches for at least the next day or so. They're going to keep monitoring the scene. And coming up at 5:30, we're going to talk with the beach manager here just to get her perspective on things. In the meantime, reporting live from Siesta Beach, I'm Rick Adams. Back to you.
All right, Rick, thank you. If you want to report a fish kill, you can submit a report or call the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. The toll-free hotline offers information about how and where to report fish kills, fish with parasites or other fish abnormalities. FWC scientists study disease and mortality in wild fish populations, and these reports help scientists respond appropriately to disease events like this. We're getting a lot of questions about the red tide conditions on the Suncoast on our Facebook page. Hundreds of people wanting to know what's causing the algae bloom and why it's so bad this year. We'll take a much more in-depth look at the impact it's having on the Suncoast coming up on ABC 7 News at 5. In other news, Manatee County Sheriff's deputies are investigating a shooting at an apartment complex. Deputies responded to gunshots at the Oasis apartment complex on 18th Street West around 4 o'clock this morning. They found Dontarius Collins inside his car with an apparent gunshot wound. He did not offer any details to deputies about what had happened. Anyone with information, though, can contact the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. Now to new developments surrounding the effort to ban greyhound racing in Florida. A circuit judge has knocked the ban off the November ballot, calling the proposed constitutional amendment misleading and, quote, outright trickeration. The judge sided with a group representing greyhound owners and breeders who argued the impact of the amendment went far beyond the description what would be given to voters. Now, supporters of the proposed amendment say they will appeal that ruling. Let's get to Jacqueline now with a major development in a murder mystery of a prominent Houston cardiologist.
Scott, police say this is the man who murdered Dr. Mark Hosnet, the noted Houston cardiologist who once treated former President George H.W. Bush. According to authorities, 62-year-old Joseph Pappas ambushed the doctor while he was riding his bike through the Houston Medical Center. Police now say the doctor's murder may have been motivated by revenge.
One of the tips included the fact that the suspect's mother was a patient of the doctor and died during surgery over 20 years ago.
Investigators say the alleged killer, who they say may have once worked in law enforcement, has been missing for 2 days after a tip led police to raid his empty house earlier this week. Now to what may be a new clue in the case of a missing college student from Iowa. Police are investigating a report of a possible sighting of Molly Tibbetts just a week ago at a truck stop outside of Kansas City. The sighting was reported on July 26th, 8 days after her disappearance, but authorities have not found any surveillance video to confirm that report. Tibbetts was reported missing after she did not show up for work in Brooklyn, Iowa. Well, Pope Francis has formally declared that the death penalty is never admissible and that the Catholic Church will work to end it around the world. That change has been added to the Catechism of the Catholic Church. Previously, the Catechism allowed the death penalty in certain rare cases. A spokesman said that the point is that no matter how deplorable a crime may be that the person commits, a person never loses his or her dignity as a human being. Well, let's send it back to Scott with new findings on the impact of degradable plastics in our ocean.
That's right, Jacqueline. University of Hawaii researchers have discovered that plastics degrading in the environment are even more harmful than once thought. Researchers published a study yesterday that shows methane and ethylene are produced when common plastics are exposed to sunlight. The one that produces the most of those gases is polyethylene, which is used in shopping bags. The lead author of the study says degrading plastic is also known to release harmful chemicals.
Plastic keeps on increasing. A large amount of plastic is being discarded at sea and on beaches and all along the coastlines all over the world every day. And this amount of plastic will degrade with time in the water or even on land.
University of Hawaii researchers say greenhouse gases directly influence climate change, affecting sea level and global temperatures. The Trump administration wants to lower car emissions standards. The new plan would freeze a rule requiring automakers to work toward making cars more fuel efficient. The plan also sets up a showdown with California, revoking the state's Clean Air Act preemption waiver. The White House says it will make new cars more affordable and improve safety. Attorneys General of 20 states pledged to sue over the plan, saying it will force higher spending on gas and cause more air pollution. Coming up on your Suncoast News, the family of a double murder victim on Longboat Key is now suing both the resort where it happened and the resort's security company. Plus, more than 1 million pickup trucks are being recalled after reports of tailgates flying open. And a moving scam impacting people across the country. How 14 companies got away with holding people's possessions hostage.
The skills you develop as a soldier in the Army National Guard can give you a head start on your career. Gain practical experience with technology and equipment that will give you a leg up in the civilian world. Learn critical leadership skills and to be part of a team. Serve your community and your country part-time while earning money for an education. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn about the paid training and career opportunities available to you in the Army National Guard.
Judy here, I think hospice was a tremendous source of support for her.
Absolutely. With Jennifer and Kimberly and Liza's constant contact with us, coming in, just knowing that there was someone with knowledge there to back us up, to answer our questions, it made a world of difference.
Hello, Mom.
Amanda's mom's appointment just got rescheduled for today. Amanda needs Right at Home. Our customized care plan provides as much or as little help as her mom requires, whether it's a ride to the doctor or help around the house.
Oh, of course. Tom, I am really sorry. I've got to go.
Look, call Right at Home.
Get the right care right at home.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
For a lot of kids, summer is the best time of year. But for some kids, summer is the hungriest time of year. So many kids rely on school for regular meals, and in the summer when school's out, those meals disappear. But I've got some great news for you. Kids can get free healthy meals at thousands of places across America. To find a summer meal site near you, just text the word food to 877-877. Have a great summer, America.
At the Zota Beach Resort last summer is holding the resort and the security company it hired responsible for their loved one's death. In a lawsuit announced today, the family claims his death was preventable. ABC 7's Jess Dowdrick is in Orlando with the developments.
The one-year anniversary of the double murder on Longboat Key is just 2 days away, and both of the families that lost loved ones that day stood inside of the law offices here today and said they still haven't recovered. One of those families now announcing a lawsuit. Timothy Hurley was the nightside manager at Zota Beach Resort when he was shot and killed, police say, by a Victory Security Agency employee that also worked at the resort, Daryl Hanna Jr. Now Hurley's family, including his niece, Christine Greer, is suing both the resort and security company for $15,000 to cover funeral expenses and reimburse them for the loss of their loved one. The lawsuit claims that both Zota Beach Resort and Victory Security Agency were negligent in hiring Hanna because he had a lengthy criminal record. They're also claiming Zota didn't provide Hurley with a safe working environment.
It could have been prevented, and that just makes it even worse. Because Tim could have been here. He could have watched Alex, his nephew, graduate high school, or he could have walked me down the aisle. And he can't because it wasn't prevented.
The second victim in that Zota double murder was Victory security guard Kevin Carter. Carter's loved one showed up at today's announcement. They're concerned that Carter may be blamed in part for the incident because he worked for the security company. You'll hear from that family coming up tonight at 6. Reporting in Orlando, Jess Dowdrick, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, Jess, thank you so much. Jacqueline now is in our newsroom with a look at what's trending today.
Scott, in an unfortunate event for both a bear and a car owner, take a look at this video of a bear destroying the inside of a car in Colorado. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office shared this video. It shows a bear climbing out of a car after that car was left unlocked. But once the bear got in, it had some trouble getting out. Of course, it is a large bear, and it took out its frustrations on the car's interior. Luckily, nobody was injured in that close encounter. Well, now to the mystery for who took Isaac, the ring-tailed lemur. The endangered animal was snatched up from a California zoo and turned up at a hotel 8 miles away. Surveillance video captures a crate being dropped off in front of the hotel with a mysterious note that read, quote, "This belongs to the Santa Ana Zoo and it was taken last night. Please bring it to police." Police say so far they don't know whether he was taken as part of a prank or perhaps to be sold on the black market, where he is valued up to $3,000. Well, the quick action of one man in China may have saved his family's life. This shocking video shows the man sitting with his family before noticing smoke coming out of a scooter that was charging in their living room. The man jumps up quickly trying to disconnect the scooter, but it is too late. Within seconds, the smoke thickens, giving the man barely enough time to grab his child and run out of the room before that scooter explodes. Well, let's send it back to Scott in the newsroom with more details on a scam that's making its way around.
Well, Jacqueline, there's also news of an explosive gas station fire that was caught on camera in New Mexico yesterday. Drivers caught crazy video of the inferno and resulting fireball as they went by. Officials say the structures contained oil, hay, and fireworks, which helped fuel the fire. The nearby highway had to be partially closed, and there were no injuries reported, and the fire was contained to just 2 buildings. Prosecutors are now accusing 14 moving companies across 10 states of holding people's possessions hostage until they agree to pay more. Officials calling it a nationwide hostage moving scam. Investigators say the alleged scammers would create moving companies with false glowing reviews, and when one would shut down after a slew of complaints, they just open a new one. Also lying to customers about their experience as movers and then providing a lowball estimate.
Well, BBB encourages people to make sure that whenever possible they have an estimator come to their home and give them a quote based on what they're seeing in the home.
The named individuals could face up to 20 years in prison. The Inspector General wants to hear from all potential victims. Fiat Chrysler is recalling 1.1 million Ram pickup trucks. The automaker issued a recall to fix the power locking mechanisms in the tailgates of certain trucks. The company said it had not identified any injuries or accidents connected to the defect. Now, this recall covers a portion of Ram 1500, 2500, and 3500 pickup trucks from 2015 through 2017 model years. The company will let vehicle owners know once they're ready to repair that defect. A beer company is investing in weed. Molson Coors Canada, one of the world's best-known breweries, is entering into a joint venture with a Canadian cannabis company. The goal is to develop non-alcoholic cannabis-infused products. Several companies already make marijuana-infused drinks, including a Colorado company, but those drinks lack the brand recognition that Molson Coors brings. The cannabis-infused drinks likely won't be on shelves until next summer. Wells Fargo has agreed to pay just over $2 billion for issuing mortgage loans it knew contained incorrect income information. The government said this activity contributed to the financial crisis. Wells Fargo is not admitting liability as part of the settlement. The fine is the latest bit of bad publicity for Wells Fargo. Last year, investigators uncovered up to 1.4 million more fake accounts after digging deeper into the bank's broken sales culture. Time to get a check on our First Alert forecast with meteorologist Steve Newman.
Thanks, Scott. In for Bob Harrigan. He's taking the week off and hope he's enjoying the beach, at least away from the red tide. This is Casey Key, and it doesn't look like the surf's very high. Plenty of sunshine, certainly more today than we've seen for the last few days, as a shift in the wind is bringing a more typical pattern for this time of year. It is hot. It is humid. It just feels awful outside right now with 90-degree temperature, dew point 77. That's like jungle, Amazon humidity. And look at the heat index across the state. Even Key West, it feels like 100 now. The same at Melbourne, 101 at Daytona Beach. Because of rain up in the Panhandle, they're feeling more comfortable up there. Sarasota at the airport, it feels like 103. Northport 100, Punta Gorda 100, pretty close to 100 everywhere except along the beaches where it's in the mid-90s, the feel-like temperature. Yesterday at this time we had a lot of clouds bubbling up over Florida. Not so much today because then the winds were coming in from the south, bringing in all that tropical moisture. Now they're shifting for a more southeasterly direction, traveling over drier land, so we're not getting the buildups. But the Panhandle is still getting hammered with rain up there, as you can see by radar. A lot of lightning, too, up the I-75 corridor into Georgia, and more storms offshore. Across our viewing area, you can see right now, if we look at from Manatee County northward, there's a fairly strong line of storms like parked right over I-75 from Lakewood Ranch up to the split to 275, going up to Ruskin as well. So if you're traveling out right now, be alert to that. High pressure still in control. We have moisture and warmth ahead of this stationary front, somewhat drier air behind it, and temperatures not all that hot, at least east of the Rockies. 86 at Chicago, 84 at New York City, 94 at Dallas, but it's 106 in Phoenix, and in the interior valleys of California, very hot continuing there. Take a look at the tropics. We still have another burst of dust coming off the Sahara, suppressing development of tropical activity in the central and eastern Atlantic. The Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico also look very good right now. But out here we have Hurricane Hector. This is going to turn into a major hurricane. 75-mile-an-hour winds now, but it's heading toward Hawaii, and people there are beginning to keep a cautious eye on the storm. For us, we do have scattered showers and thunderstorms more typical of the season, where we get the sea breeze, and they come back late in the afternoon and evening, cooling us off with showers. That pattern should last into the weekend. It's a pattern I think most of us will really enjoy. Not a great time to go to the beach, but the water, the open water, southeast winds 5 knots, very light winds, only a light chop. The sea water temperature 86, 90 the air temperature tomorrow with a UV index of 11. Here's my forecast looking at the Bradenton skyline. A chance of thunderstorms developing later on this evening. 75 will be the overnight low temperature, right on the money for where we should be this time of year, and winds be fairly light. But clouds here and there. For tomorrow, that chance of showers and thunderstorms with lightning increases during the day, but the heat index again is going to soar up to over 100 degrees in most areas tomorrow. The air temperature will be 91, which is normal, but it is definitely humid with east-southeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. And here's the 7-day outlook. Takes us into next week, showing a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms developing tomorrow with a high of 91. That chance goes down a little bit Saturday, but you're going to recognize this weather pattern. In the last few days, it's all the clouds. In one way, it was good because it filtered out the sun, but also made it more muggy and humid. That pattern is changing. This is what we'd expect in early August with a 40 to 50% chance of afternoon and evening showers each day. That chance goes down to 20% on Tuesday with mostly sunny weather at this point. That's what the models are saying, but we go back to a more typical pattern again next Wednesday and Thursday. That's our weather. Scott?
Thank you, Steve. A wildfire in Oregon is now quickly spreading, leading to the evacuation of hundreds of people. It's called the South Valley Fire, and it sparked yesterday. High winds caused it to swell to 3,500 acres within hours, but today it grew to 15,000 acres. Fire officials believe the blaze was likely caused by humans. The South Valley fire is just one of many wildfires to hit that region this summer. 2 other fires burned tens of thousands of acres. We'll check out an incredible scene in northern China now. A 1,000-year-old salt lake has turned bright red. The colorful appearance of the lake does not come from the water itself. The reason is because of a surge in temperatures that has also led to a surge in algae and brine shrimp, which are multiplying due to the warmer weather. Different kinds of algae form various colors in the water. So while temperatures continue to climb, the colors will become increasingly vibrant. Coming up on ABC 7 News at 4, a Florida mom warning about a fad food called Dragon's Breath that's sold in shopping malls that sent her son to the hospital.
I'm Stephanie Roberts from Suncoast View. Coming up Friday morning at 9, creatures that creep and crawl are coming to our studio. Then we'll meet the human faces of Repticon, and yes, they brought some scaly friends. Plus, we'll talk about helping women take charge of their money with a financial advisor. That's all coming up Friday morning at 9.
About every 3 minutes in America, someone is diagnosed with a blood cancer. Light the Night brings together survivors and supporters to bring light to the darkness of cancer and to help fund life-saving research. Our goal is a world without blood cancers, and we're lighting the path to cures. The discoveries made in blood cancer research have led to breakthrough treatments for many cancers and other serious diseases. Help defeat the darkness of cancer. Join Light the Night today.
I'll be right back.
Hi! You think you're probably sober?
Yeah. But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but one of the teachers was Miss Araceli. She gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll sit there with you until you get it. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Every time you purchase a fishing license or register your boat, you're helping to preserve our nation's coastlines, lakes, rivers, and streams, protecting memories for generations to come. Learn how your participation in boating and fishing can help the environment at takemefishing.org/conservation.
A home can be much more than just a house. But for some of our neighbors, home means uncertainty and isolation. At Rebuilding Together, we turn houses into homes and revitalize our communities. Because a neighborhood is more than just houses and streets. It's familiar faces and open arms. Join the movement to ensure everyone can live in a safe home and community. Become a rebuilder today.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
A Florida mom is issuing a warning about a snack called Dragon's Breath after her son had to be rushed to the hospital after eating them. Dragon's Breath is like a cereal-like treat coated in liquid nitrogen, which makes it appear like you're breathing smoke out of your mouth and nose while eating it. Her son, who has asthma, began to cough and have trouble breathing. So she pulled over at a fire station where EMTs were able to give him albuterol and an IV and then take him to the hospital for treatment. Doctors later found out the ordeal was triggered by a liquid nitrogen smoke of the Dragon's Breath treat. We're just getting started. Let's get to Jacqueline now back in the newsroom with a quick look at the other stories we're working on today.
Scott, coming up at 5, we'll try to answer your questions about red tide conditions here on the Sun Coast. We will have information about how the red tide is affecting the businesses and people who rely on the beach for their livelihoods, how this algae bloom is affecting marine life and animals, and what you can do to help, and what are the health dangers and concerns, plus so much more. Let's send it back to Steve for a final look.
Let's take a look at our weather headlines at 4:20 this afternoon. A slight pattern shift, and that's going to mean a more typical weather pattern for this time of year as winds become southeasterly. That allows our afternoon sea breeze front to kick in, develop storms inland, and blow back at us late in the day, cooling us off. Want to alert you to weather problems right along I-75 and moving up into the Tampa Bay area. Fairly strong storms that are going to be going on for the next half hour, so be alert to that. Take a look at our future radar that takes us through the evening hours. About 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, the chance of thunderstorms increases until after midnight, and they decrease. That's similar to what happened yesterday during the late afternoon. And temperatures as we move through the evening hours will slowly cool off, especially if we get those storms. That's when we'll really start cooling off. But without them, we'll be about 89 at 5 o'clock, 85 at 7 o'clock, cooling off to the upper 70s by 11. But those storms could advance that cooling trend if they do occur. And that's the weather. Scott?
All right, Steve, thank you. Thank you for joining us on ABC 7 News at 4. We hope to see you back here at 5 o'clock.